So welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Pierce Dispatch. I'm here with Chief Dan DiRenzo of the Bellmawr Fire Department. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. So
Absolutely.
you are here with two special deliveries, right? Two?
Yep, two.
Can you tell me what they are?
Yep, we bought a 75-foot quit aerial apparatus and a heavy-duty rescue pumper.
Sweet. And they stand out on the blue floor. I don't know if you can see them in the background a little bit, but they're white with a blue
They are on the blue floor, and yeah, they
them.
stand out because they're
Yes.
the only white and blue fire trucks, I think, in this whole facility.
It looks pretty aesthetic with the blue floor.
Yeah.
That's great. So what I really did want to talk to you about is about the HDRP in specific. So
Yep.
if you're comfortable just sharing some of maybe your favorite features about your HDRP.
Yeah, so the heavy-duty rescue pumper stood out for us because we transitioned from a tandem axle rescue truck to this multifaceted piece of apparatus for us based on our needs, our staffing, and obviously financial climate at the time. So we were looking for something that had durability, compartmentation, and the ability for us to carry out not just a standalone rescue function, but also the ability to provide a suppression capability such as the heavy-duty rescue pumper can do. Obviously, this isn't our first Pierce. This is probably our third or fourth Pierce in several years. So we were very happy with those previous ones, and we knew that this a heavy-duty rescue pumper on the 189 body would suit our needs of what we're looking to accomplish.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now I want to dive a little bit deeper into your department, just
Okay,
generally.
absolutely.
Could you tell me about, like, as a department, what are your different, like, missions and drives as a department, your core values?
So, our core values and missions is number one is we define our culture. We're there for one reason, that's to provide life safety, right? And then how can we best provide that? Our drive is to have properly trained firefighters responding to all incidents at all times of the day. So, staffing was key for us over the last several years. We've been able to guarantee and staff, around the clock staffing, and we have that, and we're bolstering that. But with that comes the next piece of the puzzle, which is the resources to accomplish that task, which is our apparatus. With that being said, we strive to have trained, credentialed personnel and proficient personnel on these apparatus at all times. And in order to do that, our mission is to always be prepared to handle the incidents, that are thrown at us. We're in a dynamic area right outside across the bridge from the city of Philadelphia. So we do have a lot of highways, interstates. Our staff puts in about 40% of their call vibe is on the interstate highway, doing rescue functions as well as suppression functions. So our mission and drive is to provide this response as adequate as we can with the most trained and proficient personnel as we can with the best piece of equipment.
Chief, you didn't make it, so I can ask any more questions. You wrapped it all up. We're
No,
cut. We're
good.
done.
We're done. Go on.
You laid it all
Next.
out there for me.
We'll eat again. It seems that's all we do here is eat. Every time they're asking me, hey, what do you want to eat?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, you guys take, I'll tell you, they put out the red carpet for everybody here. I'll tell you that.
Good. Have you ever been to Pierce before?
Never to Pierce. It's my first time to Pierce.
Okay, and you like it?
So, oh my God. Yeah, how could you not?
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yes.
All around.
Yes. So what's your favorite thing that you've seen thus far here?
Just the operation in general. I mean, the interface with the staff here, with the subject matter experts, to the guys that are building your apparatus, to your engineers, everybody's at your fingertips. And it's just a well-oiled machine. And the fact that you have so many people here doing final inspections, it's amazing.
It's incredible.
Everybody doesn't skip a beat here.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it is just everybody's got their job and they get it done and in such a professional manner. And everything's impressive here.
Okay. So can you tell me a little bit more into specific about you mentioned this before, but the capabilities of your heavy-duty rescue pumper. What will its function be in your fleet?
So the capabilities of our heavy-duty rescue pumper, as I stated, was it's replacing a tandem axle standalone rescue truck. So it is the apparatus that our personnel will be deploying to vehicle fires, MVA rescue assignments, industrial accidents, stuff that requires a rescue response, as well as has the ability to be an engine if needed. The primary functional role of this apparatus is rescue-based for us. Again, our primary missions for rescue are technician level vehicle rescue, machine rescue, and water, that's our primary hazards, coupled by some operational level tasks for rescue. But this apparatus will be deployed mostly for rescue functions, replacing the heavy duty rescue truck, which was standalone sole purpose. This will be a dual purpose rig for suppression and rescue.
Mhm. The reason behind making it a apparatus that has suppression and rescue abilities, is that due to an incline and, like, maybe fire calls that you're seeing and you're like, "Okay, we need a dual apparatus instead of just, like, just a heavy duty rescue or
Uh,
just a
that
pumper?"
stands for several reasons. First of all, financially, right? So you're going to the powers that be, your government officials, and you're asking for funding for an apparatus. Obviously, the due to the fluctuation of costs and stuff, it's tough to go there and ask for a single functioned apparatus for the price we're paying. So that helps. Number one is say, hey, this is a dual function piece of apparatus. I can do the same job with one truck, but then I could do it too. So that helps right there alone. But the fact that we have suppression capabilities is, yeah, we're facing situations where, okay, we only staff one piece of apparatus in the station. So, when they're out there on that apparatus, if they're on the street doing inspections or on a medical call or assistant EMS somewhere, and they get a structure fire, they're already on that apparatus. They don't have to switch. If they go from a structure fire to an accident, they don't have to go back and get the other apparatus because they have they're on that apparatus that can handle pretty much anything that's thrown at them. So we're seeing that. We're also seeing it to where you're going out for an accident and you're pulled up and the vehicle's on fire. So, hey, I'm coming out here to, thinking I'm going to have to cut people out of a car. But now one of these vehicles, based on technology of the construction of vehicles, is, it's caused it to catch fire. So now we have to put the fire out on the vehicle and potentially, cut somebody out of a car of another vehicle. So, staffing, multifunctional use, and changes in constructions of technology of the incidents we're responding to is requiring us to be on a dual purpose piece of apparatus.
Absolutely. It just makes sense, and when you're asking somebody, well, it sounds great to say dual purpose. It has this
Yeah.
capability of serving us immediately,
Yeah.
where we need it.
Multifunctional. I mean, back in the day, sure, we had the ability to say, hey, we have enough people showing up to the fire station to get 3 fire trucks out or multiple fire trucks out. But listen, when we can only financially afford to staff one fire truck, well, obviously every fire truck has to have water because that's what it puts the fire out, right? So what do we have else that we can couple that with to assist in the other all hazardous incidents we face? We don't just go to structure fires anymore. We go to multitude of things.
Right, right. And so you talked about all these capabilities and things that this truck is going to be doing. Could you tell me, like, about the equipment and the store? Like, what are you putting in the huge storage?
So for us, for the compartmentation, that's one of the biggest pluses to the heavy duty rescue pumper. Obviously, it's the body chassis and the frame, and able to handle that additional weight of the equipment. But the compartmentation is huge, right? Because why we're carrying is, so when it comes to the rescue stuff, standard engines, they can be small because they're carrying hose and water. But now with us, we're added that rescue function to it. We're going to be carrying, pneumatic struts, heavy duty breaching and braking equipment and tools for cutting cars and extrication equipment, ropes and rigging, torches, confined space equipment for rope equipment. We have one of our big threats is water. So we deal with, we have tidal waterways and floods. So we have dry suits for swift water or surface water rescues. We have dry suits for our divers because we have the ability to rapidly deploy a diver from that vehicle, from that heavy duty rescue pumper. So, of that, all those multiple disciplines and different levels, it's going to require all that equipment to be carried. So, the heavy duty rescue pumper having the ability to handle the weight and the compartmentation enables us to have that stuff readily available to us, where some agencies would carry that on an auxiliary vehicle because some of them are low frequency events, but sometimes those are time sensitive stuff. So we have to have some of those pieces of equipment with us, at all times to be able to affect that rescue.
Right, right. That's great. So, is there anything specific that you said, okay, this compartment needs to be exactly this height, this width? You dive into
Absolutely.
that?
That's what we try to, you try to keep it as symmetric as possible as the other apparatus. Hey, this is where, the saws are. This is where the tools are. This is where the extrication equipment is. However, to this apparatus, we have, walking from the front to the back, we have a crew cab, with a raised roof. Okay. The raised roof is so that our members can don their PPE specific to rescue in the back of the cab. So in the back of the cab is where they keep their rope harnesses if we have to do a rope based event. Their dry suits are back there for whether it be a swift water or surface water rescue operation. Their dive dry suits are back there if we're going in for a rapid dive operation, as well as their BCDs for the dive are kept in the crew cab there. So basically, anything that's relative to their personal protective equipment is kept in the rear of the crew cab. And then as we work our way back, we strive to keep even though some stuff's low frequency, but the heavier stuff low, and the lighter stuff higher and up in the coffin boxes. It's kind of how we designed it. And sure, we measured out, hey, this is where we're going to keep the saws. This is where we're going to keep the extrication equipment as you go work your way back in the body. So there's some of the design features there. Because we run the highway a lot, like I said, 40% of our runs are out there. We went with the roll-up door concept, obviously, as much as we like the traditional doors, because of space, due to our operations out there and safety, we kept with the roll-up doors to keep it more of a compact footprint for us on the highway.
Yeah, and so did you add any other elements due to the highway? I mean, you have the roll-up doors. Do you have transverse compartments, slide-out trays,
So yeah,
anything
we
like
don't
that?
really get a lot of slide trays. We have some tool boards, which we
Okay,
found success for our struts, which
nice.
you keep our tool boards. We do have transverse compartments, which is for our longer struts, our gold struts, our Stokes baskets, and stuff like that. The tripods. We do have anchor points located on the body for use for anchoring off and heavy rigging, as well as with the use of our Paratech monopod that we can tie back to. So we did put the anchor points in. There's portable anchor points around the entire vehicle, so we can utilize the winch off either side, front and rear.
Mhm.
Scene lighting was key for us. Anytime there's an open apparatus cab door, we have a scene lighting that comes on as well. But those are some of the rescue features that we put in. We do have some long storage from the rear as well for some additional lumber if needed to carry. So yes, there was some thought put into some of the larger rescue equipment that we do carry. How are we going to carry it, where we're going to carry it, and yeah, by the use of some tool boards and transverse compartment, long compartments in from the rear. And again, like I said, some heavy duty anchor points with the in the body itself. That has helped us out a lot.
So my question now is, do you have it organized in the fashion of one side is firefighting, one side is rescue, or is it can you
It's
tell me about that?
not so much like where, we have some, it's one side's rescue, one side's fire. Ours is pretty much basically based on the body itself, what fits the best in certain areas, and how's our other apparatus laid out. For example, like I said, we have a 75-foot aerial on the floor too. Um, you know, when it comes to if the guys are in the station and it's a structure fire, they're gonna cross the floor to the aerial device and the quint, and they're gonna be going to that. But that quint's gonna be also equipped with basic rescue stuff, whereas the heavy duty rescue pumper is gonna be equipped with some all rescue stuff and then obviously some suppression stuff. Well, we try to keep the layouts the same. So the EMS equipment's in the same spot. The hose packs are in the same spot. The extrication tools, even though the HDRP is gonna carry more, is in the same spot as it is on the aerial. So this way they're not, on one call they're on this apparatus, the next call they're on the next apparatus, and they're, saying, fumbling around because they don't know which rig they're on. So that was one of the things we used in comparison to determining our layout.
And could you just tell me, so have you ever had a HDRP in your fleet before?
We've never had an HDRP. We do have currently we do have a rescue engine, a puck rescue engine on a 177 body. Again, it's done well for us, but it was too small for what we need to do. So we examined that. We looked to say, hey, can we take this tandem axle rescue truck and put it onto this put a puck on the 177 body? We tried it. It just wasn't right. We were strapping ourselves to the point, okay, what can we carry? What can't we carry? And we don't want to be in that position because we say, we're not going to need this, but we're going to put this in the closet. We're not going to have it. So we didn't want to sell ourselves short. So that's why we opted to go with the current HDRP we went with. So not only does it give us the ability to carry what we need now, but it also gives us some future growth to grow into.
Mhm. Do you have any standout incidents that you're like, "Oh, wow, an HDRP would have been great here," or would that previous one even? Like
Sure. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Again, you pull up at the rescue truck and the car's on fire. It's like, oh man, I really wish I had 500 gallons of water to be able to put on this, on this car, the car that's on fire that we thought we were going to an accident. Sure. There's stuff we've handled with the rescue truck that we want to be able to make sure we carry that equipment on the HDRP. Because we do get involved with tractor trailers and stuff like that, and we do have a robust industrial complex where we have a lot of machine rescue situations. So again, there's times where we've had that rescue truck with the equipment we've used, and to say that we want to sell it short, we don't want to do that. So now we'll have that ability to not sell it short and carry what we need to.
Could you tell me, so since this is the first heavy duty rescue pumper of this magnitude, this size, this compartment space, is there training that's correlated with that you need to have for your department or?
So, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, sure, there's training with any apparatus we get, right, from the apparatus operator perspective. So the driving, the pumping. But I think the core training that needs to be emphasized to all these types of vehicles is, we have the vehicle, we get the tools, but are our people that are riding this apparatus properly trained in the use of these tools? Are they maintaining the proficiency? So, yeah, for us to identify what disciplines we're going to be at. So to a technician level or an operations level, we identify those disciplines, and then it's up to us to make sure that the guys that are riding this apparatus are trained in those disciplines and equipment that we're carrying on the rig. It's one thing to have the apparatus and stock it full of equipment, but now it's up to us to, aside from the general apparatus operator training, but to focus in on the disciplines that we've determined for that apparatus and make sure we maintain that training level to what we're expecting those capabilities to be carried out.
Will your whole staff be trained on it or just a crew?
So we're right now we're staffed around the clock with one crew. So that'll be the guys that are assigned to that company. That's what they're tasked to do. So pretty much anybody that rides that apparatus, when they're on shift, they can be put in a situation where they need to.
Mhm. How many stations do you guys have?
We only have one station.
Okay.
We have one station, but we're staffed around the clock. We use about 30 guys a week to staff that, but it's a combination of full-time, part-time personnel.
Mhm.
So it is a little bit tough because you have so many different people that ride that apparatus. I mean, we're on 12-hour shifts right now, so there's two different apparatus operators sometimes just in one day, a day shift and a night shift guy. So about 30 guys a week average that would rotate through utilizing both apparatus, the aerial and the HDRP.
Mhm. And where is your station located in your
Mhm.
in your area?
So we're in Camden County, New Jersey. Like I said, right over the bridge from the city of Philadelphia. Exit 3 New Jersey Turnpike. So we sit in the middle of a bunch of highways, in that area. But we're very close to the Delaware River. Like I said, the city of Philadelphia, we can, about 2 minutes away. So that's we're in southern New Jersey in comparison to the state of New Jersey.
Mhm.
So it's to be south of New York City.
So you had talked about how this truck is going to have, or in reference to the HDRP, is going to have the capability for fire and rescue.
Yes.
Now, when a call gets assigned to this HDRP, will it be the only truck that responds, or will your aerial follow suit?
So our region is, we have a robust response and automatic aid system within our county through the centralized dispatching. So, for example, where we spend a lot of time is on the highway. So in the direction of travel, they'll send at least an engine and a rescue apparatus in each direction of travel. So there will be other agencies that we work with. Matter of fact, like I said, we work a lot with the Gloucester City Fire Department on the highway systems. They would be coming in an opposite direction per se. So, it helps because we just started a lot of interagency training, with our mutual aid partners in Barrington and Runnymede and around us. So what that helps us is, we're coming there. We have the tools, we have the equipment, but there's going to be additional personnel needed. So again, having that ability to get the equipment cache there will help bolster it with the additional personnel assisting us
Right.
in comparison to determining our layout.
Okay, cool. Could you tell me, Chief, about your graphics package on these trucks?
So the graphics is tough, right? So it's funny you say that. We go back and forth. I even change it when we're out here about curving stuff or straight. Um, First of all, again, second, top notch. The graphics department's been great, back and forth with you. I mean, very responsive. Um, so we've had the same graphics for a while. And at one point we were talking about changing the colors, and then it's like that's real dicey. But now we're gonna keep them white. But graphics, we were standard graphics, and then just recently, the guys that came up with it, the slogan, the Black Horse Express, and thinking about that in my head, I said to myself, "Man, I want to add some esprit de corps to the guys here, help bolster this culture here." So we took a shot, and we went and said to the graphics guys, "Hey, what do you think about putting the slogan under the name?" And they said, "Oh, let's give it a shot." And they send you some pictures, and it doesn't do it any justice. You get here and you see it. It's like, nope, I don't need to change anything. Cancel that change order. This is great. I mean, the way they did it with the shadow and the font styles, it was just amazing. And it doesn't do any justice until you see it in person.
So where is that rooted from? Where did that come about?
The Black Horse Pike runs through our community. So it runs through our community. It was probably like, what started. It was probably the first road in our community, the Black Horse Pike. So basically, that's where we are stationed right off of that. But we respond to structure fires basically about 7 towns along the Black Horse Pike. So, one of the guys that came up with, "Hey, man, it's like the Black Horse Express here because you run up and down the pike for any structure fire from this town all the way down 7 towns down the pike down to the next town." And it caught, and the guys liked it, So they ran with it, and we ran with it. And like I said, just trying to add some esprit de corps to the guys. You want to build that culture, and I was hoping that that would help, and that would be that was like a little surprise. Only about 2 other guys, I bounced it off and say, "What do you think?" And they're like, "Oh, that's great. We're running with it." And it actually came out. You're nervous. She's like, "Oh, let me give this a shot," and it came out great.
Good.
So that's what the Black Horse Express is.
Yeah, it looks sick.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell me about your apparatus committee and who's on it?
So, I mean, obviously, as everybody's learned, this is a lengthy process, right? It starts about 2 years ago. And it's changed since then, but it starts with the fire officer staff. You bring the fire officer staff in, and initially we were only going for 1. But then when you sat down, you look at some of the capital budgets and stuff, and you look at the future, and we were able to, with some trade-ins and so forth, say, "Hey, we're going to go for 2." We have the ability to deal with the budget. So it starts with the fire officer staff, and we divide them in half. Say, hey, half of you are going to work on the aerial, half of you are going to work on the HDRP, the rescue engine. So start with the fire officer staff, but that was 2 years ago, so there was some turnover there. But then, we go through, frequent meetings, and then the fire officer staff would take it back to their crews when they're working to get some input. And then they would bring it back, and then, we meet with our fire and safety, which is our dealer, back and forth, routine meetings with them. It drove us to this point where we're at now. And then it was, all right, basically I said to the dealer, "Hey, how many guys do I have to bring out?" He goes, "Well, I got to bring a couple because we're going to be there for 4 to 5 days." I was like, "Wow, that's a long time, and it's a lot." So we selected myself and 4 other guys, 2 for, basically 2 that were focused on the HDRP, 2 that are focused on the 75-foot aerial, and myself and our sales rep. And that's what brought us here to today.
Nice.
So there's 5 of us here.
Sounds pretty efficient and effective.
We try.
Divide and conquer.
Yes and no. There are some things you step in. No, we're not doing that. Those guys love the rotor ray. They're all mad at me still. Like, "Hey, look at that. It's going to got a rotor ray." Yeah, we don't. So next. Yeah, they're still trying to get. I bet you right now, with me not being there, I may walk out there. Maybe you'll want on there. So
you never know. They move fast. They move fast.
But that's what brought us here today to this point with the committee.
Chief, do you have any advice for anyone designing an apparatus right now that may be listening?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, keep an open mind. Think about the future, because what you start out with isn't what's going to be at the end. Like I said, it's a lengthy process right now with the delivery times. But just remember what the purpose is for. Remember the culture of your department, of what your mission is. Design it around your mission. Make sure it's within your, what your target range of capabilities is going to be, and make sure you can maintain those proficiencies, because the training's key. We can buy these apparatus and stock them full, But if, we don't stay proficient on them, what we're carrying on them and how to operate them, they're going to be rendered useless. But, keep that open mind. And like I said, just be ready to be, change. Change is big. What you may start out with initially isn't what you're going to end up with. But consult your people, see what their input is. Cause like I say, listen, that's not my office, right? That's your office. So I'm not the one to ride them every day. You guys are. So you try to take their input as best as possible. But sometimes you got to step in and be the chief. But yeah, advice for firefighters in general. Again, training's key. Maintaining training and proficiency is key. Remember the culture of why you're there, the drive, the mission. And that's basically how you'll succeed in the fire service. You got to be a go-getter. If you're not a go-getter and you're not trying to strive to be better, then you might as well just, check out now.
So you're very knowledgeable. I have to ask, how long have you been in the fire service?
So I'm a career firefighter in the Cherry Hill Fire Department, just a little north of us in Bellmawr. I'm getting ready to retire from there for about 25 years. I'm the captain of the rescue company there. I'm also involved in the FEMA USAR system, New Jersey Task Force 1. So, I had to have, a little bit of experience in the rescue world. And obviously I'm the part-time fire chief for the Bellmawr Fire Department. So about 25 years, like I said, getting ready to retire from Cherry Hill, but I'll still stay within the, hopefully in the Bellmawr Fire Department there, as well within the state and federal system for the USAR.
How long have you been with Bellmawr?
Bellmawr since 2004, I would say. About 19 years in Bellmawr. I moved there. Yep.
Was it hard balancing being a part of USAR, being a part of, you said Cherry Hill, right?
Yes.
Cherry Hill and Bellmawr? Was it hard?
Nah, because
No?
you love the job, right? I love doing it.
The fire bit
If I didn't like it, I'm second generation. My father was a career fireman. He retired. That's all I've known. I got out of high school and I got hired right out of high school, and that's all I've ever known. So no, you love to do it. You have a passion for it. So, was it hard? Sure. There's days it's like, oh man, how do I balance this? How do I balance that? I'm never home. But you do it for the love of the job, and you love what you do, and the outcomes. Some of these outcomes that you see and the successes you see in this occupation is great.
Mm-hmm. And so, why did you become a firefighter?
So like I said, following my father's footsteps, second generation. That's all I ever knew. Like that's what I was going to do, and I was fortunate. Right out of high school, got hired, and that's all I've ever known. That's the only job I've ever done. It's probably the only job I ever do. Is through that, being a fireman, now obviously with, heavily involved with the Office of Emergency Management, because that's what the direction our job has gone because of all hazards and the different threats that we face. But, I'll stay in emergency service and run it out as long as I can. Yeah.
Sounds like you've had a pretty incredible journey.
Yeah. Well, I'm fortunate too. I own a training company on the side, safety and survival training. And we've taught at FDIC and all over the country. So, I'm surrounded by a bunch of, fabulous instructors there too that, again, they share the same love of the job, and that helps out a lot. When days you feel down, you surround yourself with good people like that, and it keeps you going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's been such an honor to have you on the podcast.
Oh, thank you.
I feel like I could talk to you all day.
Oh, no, hey, you girls
Pick
make
your
it so
brain.
easy. You kidding me?
Good,
Yeah.
good. Well, thank you for coming on.
No, absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for everything you guys have done for us last couple of days here. It's been great.